guys, welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for real producers by real producers and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers. We are also powered by Top Producers Nation. You can check us out at topproducersnation.com. If you're an agent out there who wants to become a top producer in your desired market, but you feel like you can use some support in doing so, check us out online and we'll be able to help you do so. We have all kinds of different coaching and courses and programs to help you get there. So today, our guest is Mr. Bill Gramatica. How you doing, brother?
Good morning. How are you?
It's good to have you. Yeah, no doubt.
Thanks for having me.
Bill is with Charles Ruttenberg Realty, obviously a top producer here in the Tampa Bay market. Did over $18 million in volume as a sole producer. I think you said this year is already beaten that. You're over 25 so far this year. So you're going to be seeing Bill featured in Tampa Bay Real Producers magazine coming up shortly. I think he's scheduled for our November release. So we had him on the show a little early. So that's good. We just couldn't wait. Couldn't wait to get Bill here.
Glad to be here.
And talk to him a little bit. So if you're a Tampa Bay native, you probably are familiar with his last name. Gramatica is well known in the Tampa Bay area. Well, if you're a football fan, I guess. His brother Martin was a kicker for how long? How long was he a kicker for Tampa? Do you know?
I think 6 years in Tampa.
6 years in Tampa.
12 years overall.
12 years total. And Bill was also a kicker, kicked for the Cardinals. Were there other teams involved too?
Briefly with the Giants for a year. And
Okay.
then I felt like a substitute teacher 1 week with the Dolphins. When their kicker got hurt, I went in and
Stepped in for a game.
for him, and then that was it. And then he healed, and then I was...
That was it, huh?
Back to work.
So we'll talk about Bill's journey here and how he got licensed, of course. But let's start a little bit with your background. Did you guys grow up in this market? If not, how did you find your way to Tampa Bay?
Well, originally, our family's from Argentina, so I came to the United States in 1984.
Okay.
And then...
What brought you to the States?
Well, my parents, Argentina was in a pretty tough economic situation, and so they wanted kind of a opportunity for us. And, so my parents came and started in Miami, moved around a few times, and then kind of chose Tampa when Coach Levitt became the head coach at the University of South Florida.
Okay.
I started my career at Florida State my freshman year and then transferred to South Florida to play for Coach Levitt in Tampa. And just absolutely love it here. The weather, the people. You
can't go wrong.
There's no better place to live anywhere.
You can't go
than
wrong with Tampa
so,
Bay. So were you an athlete in Argentina?
Yeah, so we were soccer players.
You were?
And
Yep.
then, basically went to high school in LaBelle near Fort Myers. Played soccer down there in Fort Myers. And then once we got to high school, the previous kicker was a fullback that just kicked straight on. And then our high school coach was like, you guys are the only two soccer players in LaBelle. He's like, we need you to kick footballs. We didn't know anything about football.
Wow.
So at first we were reluctant to do it. But then, after talking to a lot of
Did you find it
friends,
easy right away? Was it a natural transition?
I felt like it was easier back then because I didn't know what the pressures of kicking field goals or the rules or anything.
A little different when you're in the NFL game in a fourth quarter.
Then we realized how important the kicker was, and now the pressure started coming on. But it was great. We kicked a couple years in high school, and then we all ended up with scholarships to go to play in college. So
nice.
It really wasn't in our plans growing up. Soccer was always in our plans, and got to kind of move and kind of adapt and. Once we started playing football, though, there was no looking back. Really
Did you get drafted as a kicker? Is that how it worked out with you?
Yeah, luckily I got drafted in the 4th round to Arizona.
Okay.
So,
what year was that?
2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you kicked for them for 3 years?
3 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So in those years of being a professional kicker, obviously we can talk about all the pressures that I'm assuming you would have faced when the game's on the line. Do you remember off the top of your head like specific moments where it was like the pressure-packed moment? Is there a game that sticks out to you in your mind? Or
yeah, a few games where you have to, kicking the game-winning field goal or a really pressure kick. I remember thinking to myself, what am I doing here? How did I get myself into this? I'm like, is there any other position that I could play except kicker? I'm like, I wasn't big enough, fast enough, so I'm like, I guess this is the only spot I got to do it. So,
right.
But it was fun. I mean, the pressure was tough, but luckily we had some great teammates. We practiced hard, and you try to kick the last field goal with the, game-winning field goal the same as the first quarter, and then people say that's mechanics. You should be able to do that.
Right.
it's really not like that because you got to, when you add pressure, your muscles tense up and your
Totally.
whole body acts differently.
So it's just really all a mental game, right?
It's mostly mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of great kickers out there. When you put the game on the line and you put pressure, that's when you kind of separate the NFL versus the high school and college players.
And technique-wise, is it very different from soccer, or is it fairly similar?
A little bit, it's more like a goal kick for a goalie. You don't want to put a lot of spin into the ball because then it won't fly the same and it won't go as far. So it is similar technique to certain positions, but not like a forward, for example, would kick it a little bit different. You know? So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's more like compared to a goalie.
What's the longest kick you ever made in an NFL game?
In NFL was 51. In college, the last kick of my college career or field goal was 63 yards.
Wow.
So
your very last one.
Yeah.
Way to go out with a bang, huh?
So I know, thankfully. So I know Coach Levitt wanted me to kick a long one my senior year because we played, USF was 1AA.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, on TV very much and wasn't as noticed. So he always wanted to get me a long one, and happened to be the last game of my college career. So
well, that's a cool memory.
Went in and,
Never got asked to kick a 60-yarder in an NFL game, huh?
No. It would have been nice,
tough.
but yeah, they're not easy. With the kicking balls in the NFL a little bit different. So
for sure,
these guys that are kicking now from 60s, it's just it's unbelievable what they're doing.
Is it very different now from your perspective, watching these guys on TV? Like, do you look at them as just like better athletes in some ways, or like what do you think goes into why the distances are different?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with understanding training wise. When we played, I mean, our off-season conditioning was soccer, was running, was a little bit of weights, but the thought process back then, 20-something years ago, was if you lift a lot of weights as a kicker, you're going to get really strong, but you're going to lose leg speed or flexibility. So it was a balance that you had to kind of, work with and almost play with, because there was really not a lot of history of understanding what the body does. And now with all the information that these kickers have, they're able to train differently. Like the TrackMan sports system that was only used in golf years ago, they're using it for a lot of sports, especially kicking. So you understand, the spin rate and the ball speed and the angle, the launch angle. So on a longer field goal, you want to be at like 38 degrees, but on a shorter field goal, you might want to be at 40 to 45 degrees, so you don't get it blocked. So understanding all those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances that the average fan would never even recognize,
Yeah, there's so much more information that you can get. And,
right.
And it's helpful, but these guys are just, they can hit from 60, 65 yards.
It seems like with ease sometimes.
Yeah, I know. So
now, are you a fan? Do you still follow the game?
Yeah, I follow football a lot.
You do?
So I enjoy watching, and especially, obviously, watching the special teams.
Yeah, I'm actually grew up in the Connecticut area, so I'm a New York Giants fan. So
Okay.
I can't believe I don't remember that you played from. Was it 1 year with the Giants?
Yeah, well, I got hurt, so I didn't play very much.
Oh, okay.
So
that was what year was that?
That was 2004. So
Gotcha.
As soon as I left,
Michael Strahan was still there back then.
He was awesome. Yeah, he was Strahan.
Tiki Barber. That was
Shockey,
right around when they drafted Eli, wasn't it?
It was Eli's rookie season.
Yeah.
I think Warner played most of the season.
Yeah, he
Eli
did. He played the first 8 games, and then they brought Eli in. It was kind of a controversial decision.
I mean, it was pretty much a done deal after they brought him in. But
right.
Yeah, Kurt was the ultimate professional, and
he was. Then he went to Arizona and made a couple Super Bowl runs.
Amazing.
Well, had a Super Bowl run, but played really well.
Like, hey, your career's over. Goes to Arizona, goes to Super Bowl. Sounds very familiar to Tom Brady, huh?
Yeah, tell me about it. What was the best team that you played on? Did anybody make the playoffs, or what was the farthest you got?
I don't know if I had something to do with it, but we were never very good.
Never had a playoff team, huh?
No, I never had a playoff team. But the coolest memories was having the opportunity to play with Emmitt Smith one year. So his last year he played at Arizona. Super nice guy.
That's
and
cool.
Just kind of seeing someone that you grow up watching. Once I started playing football, like that's the names that you kind of see.
For sure.
And then the coolest thing was playing with Pat Tillman, who, after 9/11.
He's a hero.
He just turned down a $10 million contract. He gave it back.
Yeah.
To go join the Rangers, and just having someone like that and seeing how his personality and how he mentally changed after 9/11. He was no longer playing football. He was on a mission to protect our country.
Serve the country, yeah.
Like we always knew Pat Tillman was a badass.
Yeah.
Like he did an Ironman for off-season conditioning. You know what I mean? So
that's intense.
We always knew the type of person he was. None of us were surprised of what he did. That's
Wow.
what kind of person he was. but getting the opportunity to play with him. And one thing he told me one time, we were going to a charity event. He said, man, he's like, football is a lot of ups and downs. He's like, you could be in the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. He's like, the main thing is to try to stay level headed.
Yeah.
And he used to come to practice in a white t-shirt, jeans, and flip flops. Drove like a 15, 20-year-old Jeep Cherokee. And that's what he did. And he had plenty of money. And he's like, nope,
just an everyday guy, huh?
Everyday guy. So
that's cool.
We loved him. And so none of us
I can imagine
were
with all the athletes that you've had a chance to meet over the years and the experiences that you've had. I mean, we could probably talk about just that for a while on the show. I'm a huge sports fan, so that's why I found it interesting to dive into that. And so it's good to kind of learn a little bit from it. Now, how long was your career again as a whole as a kicker?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
so did you have any interest in real estate? Like during those years, did you have kind of a game plan of what you wanted to do after leaving the NFL, or how did that transition happen?
Yeah, so after my rookie season, I still lived in Tampa, so I came down and, in between training, I decided to get my real estate license to just kind of...
Oh, so cool. You were licensed while you were kicking.
Yeah, so when I got done with my rookie season, like I said, I mean, I think I was a good kicker, but I don't consider myself a great kicker. Mm-hmm. So I knew that, I had to work really hard to...
Better than your brother?
No, I can't say that, man. No, and that's the thing. It's, so I always felt like, okay, I think I could have a good career playing football, but I never thought I would be able to retire, especially, 20 years ago, the salaries were different too.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed real estate, got my license after my rookie season, and kind of did mostly investments and, purchased rental properties and stuff like that.
Yep.
For the first...
So during the off season, you were kind of focused on flipping houses or buying long-term rentals?
Yeah, long-term rentals maybe, especially. And then it took about 15 years after that where I, after my career was over, to really focus mainly on real estate and kind of getting a niche and kind of where we are today. But I would say the first, 12 to 15 years were mainly personal investments and things like that, flipping and selling and stuff. But
do you still have rentals like that? Do you still hold?
We do. We have some rental properties. We've gotten into the short-term rental. My wife does all the property management on that.
Nice. The Airbnb game?
Yeah, Airbnb. We do VRBO, and she focuses on more the waterfront properties. So we have a few of those.
Yep.
And
are they just Tampa Bay, or do you have them all
We
over?
like to stay close
Yeah.
because she personally takes care of them, and we maintain them. We do all that, and obviously when they're not rented, we use them. So it's kind of win-win. But it's been a great niche. It stays busy, and we enjoy doing it. Kind of like I got my real estate license to prepare for retirement after football. I'm trying to kind of find something, in real estate that can kind of take care of itself to prepare myself when I retire from the next business.
Yeah, try to make it as residual as possible, I guess, right?
Yeah. So I think, I wouldn't say never, but I, at some point probably get out of the full-time real estate, and I'm thinking maybe, 15 years from now.
Sure.
But, kind of slow down a little bit and be able to follow my kids wherever they go, and be able to kind of have the properties kind of take care of themselves and have some sort of residual income, like you said. So that's kind of the thought process.
Do you do long-term holds too right now, or is it all short-term?
We have a couple long-term, but we just got a new property in the Palm Harbor area, so we're working on that. It's completely gutted right now, so it's kind of stressful for...
It's in the process.
It's in the process, and it's never easy, things, it's like a moving target, but...
Sounds like your wife has an eye for the interior design side, though.
I always say, if people have compliments, we say we.
Yeah.
If people have complaints, I'm like, I have nothing to do with it. It's her.
I'm sure she loves that.
Well, sometimes, the problem is you got to go home and she's still there. So, yeah, I hear from her when I get back. But, we have a really good team and a great niche. And so we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. So what year was it that you went kind of full-time as a residential realtor?
I would say like 2017 or so.
Okay.
Is when we started working with clients and really pushing the her eye for design, even though she wasn't doing it full time at the time. really kind of working that niche and be able to remodel homes and flipping and kind of remodeling homes for sellers, or remodel homes for a buyer. If you don't have to buy a house that's turnkey, you could buy a house a little bit less, and then we'll come in, the whole team, and we'll renovate the house. And our thing is we want to get in and get out quickly, and and be there full time, and be there. You got to be there every day.
You have a team of subs that's just part of your team.
Yeah, we got a full team, and but you want to make sure that one of us is there, because although the people we have on our team are great, they're not as great when people aren't there.
Sure.
So you just got to make sure one of us is there. So
is that like is that your would you say your niche now, like in terms of the remodel side first, of the volume and stuff that you do, what percentage of it is that game, remodeling, whether it's for the buyer or the seller, versus your traditional kind of just listing a home, right?
Yeah, I would say 80% of the homes that we sell or my clients purchase will need some sort of work.
Okay.
So
it's a pretty big percentage.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's where we stand out. There's a lot of really great realtors.
Most agents don't have that ability.
And to come in, and our goal is to get in and get out in 2 months.
Yeah.
A full home renovation, we might get it done. It might take us a third month. If it's a big house and it's a lot of work. We had a 5,000 square foot house in Steeplechase in Odessa that took us just under 3 months, but that was a lot of work. But typically it's quickly. People don't want to live through construction, so
totally
we're in, we're out.
Are these generally investors that you're working with, or is it just people who want to live in the home but they want to get a better deal, so they're looking for something that needs work? Is that kind of your target?
I do work with some investors, but my target client is end users, or someone that's for example, in my neighborhood, a lot of people will sell their house in the neighborhood to move to a different house in our neighborhood.
Sure.
And in the West Chase area, for example, most homes were built in 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
They're due for a full renovation. So
is that where you guys live, West Chase?
West Chase area, yeah.
We moved there too when we first came down from Tampa, or from Connecticut, 2012-ish.
Okay.
Right by the Publix over there, Shires, Shires community.
Yeah, we're in Highland Park, so just off of Racetrack, so just north of West Chase. But all those homes need, full kitchen, bathrooms, floors.
Yep.
We're doing a house in Water Chase right now, and we're doing, we did bathroom, we're doing backsplash, we're doing paint, landscaping, and got pictures next Thursday. Should hopefully hit the market a few days after that.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's definitely a value add. I mean, I think every buyer would love to find a property that they can get a good deal on, right? Because there's work maybe needed, or something where it's priced below market for an apparent problem or a reason.
Sure.
And so working with an agent who has this team already built in the way it seems like you do, to me, that's a huge advantage. It's very attractive.
Yeah, it's just having people full time there, and my wife Olga, she comes in and will say, look, this house, and a lot of houses in West Chase, we have similar floor plans. So we say, okay, look, this is the size of the bathroom that you're looking at. Some people don't see how it could look like the after picture. So we'll go back to our portfolio and look for projects or bathrooms that look identical or similar to the one that they're gonna remodel, and be like, this is what yours can look like.
That's cool.
And we could do a bathroom in 2 weeks, and so.
Do you get with your experience in the NFL? Has that network helped you at all with clients? Like, do you tap into that in some way, shape, or form?
I've worked with some professional athletes, but I'll work with anyone.
Sure.
So recently I did a deal that's $400,000 and one that's $2.5 million condo, and everything in between. I have a rental property I have listed, so it doesn't matter to me, because everybody's got to start somewhere, and if I have time to help and give them everything I got, I don't care what the price range is. It'll all work itself out.
What does your team look like? Is it a GC? Do you have one main GC who kind of manages your subs, and that's obviously somebody who you really trust, who you feel like knows what they're doing? What do you think are the keys in the structure of having a team to be able to do what you do?
Your point exactly, structure. So my cousin's my contractor. My wife is on the design side. I just kind of go in there and give an opinion that they don't care about, but I want to feel like I have some say into
Somebody's
it.
got to do that.
They actually don't want me at the project. So if I'm not there, is that I don't care. They're like, we really
Your
don't
job
want
is
you.
to go find another project,
They
right?
pretty much have everything already figured out, and I'll come in and be like, "Hey, we should do this, this, and this." Like, why didn't you come here 2 weeks ago when we were like in the design stages? You know, so they usually kick me out until it's ready to sell. But so my wife kind of thinks of the idea. I will go in there and kind of, if we're kind of moving stuff around, islands and stuff like that, we figure out what the best view, what the best angle. My thought process is, where can I see the TV in the best location, right? And sometimes my
Watch
wife
football on Sundays.
yeah, so she doesn't really watch much TV. And so that's not a priority for her. So if she's turning the island one direction, I'm like, no, because if I'm sitting here, I have to turn my head too much to watch the TV. I think we need to turn the island this way.
Right.
And so a lot of times she'll understand that, and then,
That's how a guy would think.
Listen, right?
Yeah.
And then anything that has to do landscaping, outdoor kitchen, I have a lot more pull on that.
Yeah.
Because that's important to me. I do the grilling, and I like sitting outside watching football.
Sure.
So we're working this Palm Harbor house that we just bought, like I'm in charge of the landscaping and outdoor kitchen. But that's the thing, is you have to have structure, and then, we have the subs that come in, and it's just coordinating timing and not wasting time, because
So always different subs based on the jobs that are needed.
well, luckily we've had the same people for a long time. During COVID, we lost a few that felt like they could go and start their own business, and a few years go, a couple years go back.
Now they're back,
and they're calling, and they're like, oh, "Okay, we realize it's not just it's not just getting the paycheck; it's understanding how to manage everything and timing and." And then moving stuff around. Like right now on our plate, we have 6 bathrooms and a kitchen, and then that full house in Palm Harbor. And so, but then I have a listing coming up in Water Chase, which jumps to the top of the line because we can't wait 3 months to list it.
Right.
So basically, in a matter of a day, we move people around to go leave one project for a day to go do a bathroom, a backsplash and painting. So being able to work together and communicate is very important, because you can't have 10 guys sitting at a project not working, because then that's where all your profit goes. So
it's a waste of resources for everybody.
Yeah. So
do you find that the clients then who are interested in this type of a strategy, are they always just having their own private money set aside to fund the rehab like that? Or do you have that option also available where there's, I know that there are like rehab loans and things that you can also tap into if need be. How does that normally get structured?
Yeah, there's different types of options. On the sales side, I usually, we have different options, but a lot of times, why I think we stay busy is we provide that as part of our service. And so
provide the financing?
Everything, yes. So it's really hard for someone to say no to me coming in and investing $25,000 out of my own pocket to do the whole renovation, which that $25,000 renovation's our cost. It could be $35,000, $40,000 if someone came in and wanted to do it through a different contractor.
Sure.
So again, we pay our costs because it's not that money that we make. It's being able to sell a house quickly, and it's being able to sell the house at top dollar.
Sure.
So, and usually the house they're buying will probably need work anyway, so they're going to hire my wife and cousin for the next project. So it's all full circle, and there's a reason why we do things. And so, being able to provide that service to a client and saying, hey, look, we're going to do this bathroom, we're going to do your landscaping, we're going to do your backsplash and paint for the house in Water Chase, for example. I'm paying for everything, and it's coming, I think it's around $15,000 at closing. They get invoiced through, my wife's interior design company. And then that's
just comes out of the closing proceeds.
Yeah.
On the sales side.
On the sales side.
On the buy side, I'm assuming it'd be a little different.
On the buy side's a little bit different. And, they get our discount, but they would fund it themselves or get some sort of renovation loan. But mainly, we've had most people just kind of fund it ourselves. Luckily, they save money on the house that they're buying.
Yep.
That needs some work, and then they come in and fund it. So, and
that makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes my cousin will just do the work, and because he's already got the team there, he'll work out a payment plan where it's like, okay, we're going to do, if they want to do 3 bathrooms and the kitchen, and they're like, well, let's do the master or the primary bathroom in the kitchen, let's wait for the other 2 bathrooms and do it when we're, we can kind of catch up. He's like, let me do them all now. You pay me in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because that way he's already got his team there.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper and easier.
Get it all done at the same time.
When you're doing demo 2 other bathrooms will take you an extra hour versus bringing the whole team 6 months from now.
Totally.
So we work that way sometimes too.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Do you prefer to do these jobs for your own portfolio or for helping out clients? Is there a different fulfillment factor either way?
We enjoy doing all projects. If I find an opportunity where I could flip a house, like I said, we're not in the flipping business, but one or two a year. Our thought process with flipping the homes is we can't hit base hits. It's got to be a triple or a home run.
Yeah.
To be able to do it. One, we don't have the time. Two, it's just not what we do for a living.
Sure.
So if we do find that, then we will move forward on that. But I had one that I identified as a really good flip investment property. But I met this family in another water chase project. I was doing an open house, met this family, and they were looking for the same floor plan, but it was over their budget. And I said, well, I got one that I'm going to end up flipping. If you want, you guys can have it. So I called the listing agent and got them under contract instead of us. Again, to us, emotionally, we're emotionally tied to the project.
Sure.
But we know we're going to sell it in a few months. These people lived in the neighborhood. They loved it. They're going to be there permanent. So we let them have that property.
Yep.
Again, we ended up doing the work and stuff, but
no, it makes a lot of sense.
It worked out for us.
And are you a resource for your clients when they're living in the property? Maybe they're not necessarily looking to sell right away, but they just have a need, like remodeling needs. Would you be somebody who they would go to for those type of things as well?
That's when my wife comes in and my cousin. So we try to squeeze those projects in between some of our clients where we're selling.
Yeah.
But occasionally comes time, we have a couple projects coming up right now that one's coming up in December, the other one in February. So he's a little pushed back a little bit, but where they're not selling the house. They were looking to possibly sell and decided they're in a great neighborhood. They got a great house. It just needs to be fully remodeled.
Right.
And so then that's when my wife will come in and talk to the clients. So she'll work her job, her process, and then my cousin comes in and does the renovation. So I kind of stay out of that one.
Gotcha. No, it makes a lot of sense. So what do you find? I've heard stories of especially ex-professional athletes because there's a certain thrill that you get, I would imagine, in being a professional athlete, the highs of wins and just that whole world, right? Compared to going back to normal everyday life. And I know it's not like you were necessarily winning Super Bowl trophies and experiencing that side of it, but still you were in the highest of the high when it comes to the athletic world. And now, running a very successful business with what you're doing on real estate. Do you miss some of that stuff at times? And has the transition been easy for you and it also fulfilling and exciting at the same time?
I don't think it's been easy, but I think it's been extremely fulfilling and exciting because, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think there's one deal that I've done that it hasn't had to be outside the box somehow.
Yeah.
So very few deals are just like a new construction or a newer home where you come in and the client, falls in love with it. And I had a phone call a few months ago. It was a friend of mine. Had just moved into the house and then decided he wanted to move down downtown St. Pete. He went to an open house. I was at a kid's birthday party and I got a call and he said, hey, I need you to do me a favor. He's like, I just went to an open house. I need you to write me a cash offer, 1.3 million, close in a month. I'm like, okay, I'll do you that favor, and I need you to sell my house that you just renovated.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, I can do. So those type of deals don't come very often.
Right.
Where, out of the blue, sold the house and he bought the one in St. Pete. I didn't have to do anything to it. That's great, and I'll take those all day long. But most of the projects that we work on, and I feel like that's why we get the clients we do.
Requires some real sweat equity, huh?
So it's outside the box. It's, okay, what do we do? What do we renovate? Do we tear down the kitchen? A lot of the islands have the two-step islands, so we want to level it to one level, and lighting, under cabinet lighting, that kind of stuff.
And the fact that you can do these jobs, I think you said on average in less than 2 months. That's pretty good.
Yes, yeah.
I've done a little bit of house flipping just as a partner in investment world. And, if you can get it under 2 months, you're pretty happy about that. A lot of the things take 4, 5, 6 months to be able to really turn them around.
Yeah, sometimes, and it's gotten a lot better, but permitting has slowed a lot of time. But, and so those projects is when you push them out further. But once we got everything in place and we can start, that's when, if you waste a day, you're wasting a lot of money, especially when you got a bigger team. So
For sure.
We got to be able to have, everything kind of planned out. things change. Like I said, the house that we had to go redo or do in Water Chase so we can list it next week. But most times you just got to have everything in order and be really organized. So, which that's where, I could do better at. And that's why I have a team that does do that. So,
yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, it's very nice.
When you think about like your vision for where you want your business to go year from now, multiple years from now, whatever your plan might be, what are some things that get you excited about where you want it to go from here?
Well, I think the easiest part is having a great area in Tampa. I mean, there's so much construction going on. There's so many people moving here. I mean, I can't think of a better place to be doing real estate. I love what I do, and that's what gets me excited is just new projects going on all the time. And obviously working on the short-term rental and kind of gaining more properties for the future. But it's just, I think that we're in a great market. I think that it's still strong. I think that have
you found a question on the short-term rental thing? Have you found that changing at all in terms of the regulatory environment? I have some people that I know who have seen some of those changes down by the beaches out there where it's like, you blink and the town then makes a decision, oh, you can't do short term anymore or whatever. Has that hindered your plan at all with that?
Not yet, but you have to be really, really careful. So that's why we renovate our short term rentals, like if they're an investment property where you would flip. So if that were to happen where, right now you try to find the unincorporated sections where they allow short term rentals. Like, for example, like Dunedin, for example, it's a great area. It would be perfect for short term. They don't allow that. So, and so where we're at in Crystal Beach and Palm Harbor, they do for now. We're always kind of ready. And once the house is done, and luckily we've had, I think one of them's at 40 something reviews and they're all 5-star reviews, is because, we put quality stuff in quality materials. The bathrooms are marble tile. Like people come in like, you can't believe this is a short-term rental, but,
right.
And luckily we're able to maintain it because we live, 25 minutes away. If it was further, then I think that's where they get a lot of wear and tear, and that you're not able to maintain it, and that's why.
So you do
we're
believe
try
it
to do
sounds like that the short-term rental game is a long-term play still. You don't think it's going anywhere?
I don't think it's going. Well, I think they're going to start. They're cutting down in areas.
Yeah.
But I think where they do allow it, I think it's a strong opportunity because for example. If you go to the Sand Pearl, you're going to spend $1,000, a night.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to sleep maybe 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Ours, our minimums, one of them's about 1,000. The other one's going to be 1,500 a night, but you can sleep 8 people or 9 people. So
there's always going to be a need for that.
People are going to be able to split. And also it's sometimes better to, if you're going on a vacation with a family, you want to be in a house.
Your own house.
And,
the privacy of all that.
And that's why being on the water, it's got a pool and outdoor kitchen. People actually go. It's almost like a resort feeling in a house, and that's why we really want to focus only on waterfront properties.
Yeah, it makes sense. And from your experience, your short terms have all been profitable. You haven't had.
Yeah, that's what issues. We just bought one a month and a half ago, so it better be profitable. Yeah, the first one did really well, and so we decided we found a good opportunity over there in Indian Bluffs and moved forward on it. So
we brought some people on the show. I remember a couple. I don't know if you know Frank Albert at all. He's shout out to Frank. So he runs a brokerage as well, and he personally I think has about 25 short-term rentals.
Yeah, I've done some deals with his team, and I've had great experience. So shout out to Frank.
No doubt, Frank's a good guy, and his team.
Yeah,
he's got some great agents over there.
They do.
And so I know we talked a lot actually on the show about his strategies about short-term rentals and personally his portfolio, what he's built with that. And I think some people on his team might have followed suit in some ways. So yeah, I find that space fascinating because I haven't really gotten into it yet myself, but I see opportunity there. Yeah. So it's matter of time, I guess, of pulling the trigger, right?
Yeah, finding the right location,
right?
And being able to kind of stay on top of it. Even if you hire a management company, you just kind of be on top of the management company to make sure that they take care of the property, and that's the thing.
And your wife manages it, you said, right?
She does, and we use it as much as we can. September and October are the times we actually block it off to do maintenance, and we paint, we touch up, caulking, and just kind of do more landscaping. So that way, it's usually hit or miss on those months anyway. So we block it off as my son's birthday. We kind of spend the whole week there. Yeah, we'll spend 1 week when school gets out, and then usually a week in September. and then periodically when it's not rented. But it's I think it was rented like 220 nights last year. So
Nice. Occupancy is pretty strong.
It stays
then.
pretty strong, and but it does. I mean, if you don't stay on top of it, you will get wear and tear. So
Totally.
you got to make sure that you're there and pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of different like automated systems now that can manage the whole client concierge side of that, right? With the communication and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that part you can do that, but I'm talking about like the maintenance and make sure
Right.
that
Make sure
everybody
the
has that
property's
same
top-notch.
experience
Yeah.
from the first renters to the last ones.
Right.
They get everything. If anything breaks, or you kind of walk through and make sure that there's nothing laying out. Or,
Yeah, you got to treat it like a hotel. I mean, it's a guest experience.
It's got to be it, and you live and die by reviews, and luckily we've had all 5 stars, and that's what our goal is to maintain. Like every week we're like, okay, let's see what came in, and luckily they're all 5 stars, so we've had some really good luck.
I feel like we can definitely spend time not only talking about more about football in the NFL, but we can talk about this whole short-term thing for another hour as well. I want to get a couple of minutes in of just some personal side for people to get to know you a little bit deeper if they don't know you much. So you mentioned obviously your wife a few times. How many kids do you guys have?
I have 2. So my daughter Mila, and she's 11. She's in 6th grade, and my son just turned 7, so he's in first grade.
7-11.
7-11.
Not bad. 7-11. So are they future athletes as well, do you think, or not sure yet?
Well, I think my daughter could end up on Broadway.
Nice.
So at least she wants to, and she's very good. She's been doing theater for a long time. She plays soccer, and she's good at soccer, but I think her talent is singing and acting. And
Nice.
her name is not Mila Gramatica. Her name is Mila Dramatica. She's very dramatic, and so dealing with her is a lot. But my son, I think. He loves soccer, but I think he might end up being a fishing guide. I mean,
really?
Yeah, every weekend we live in Highland Park. We live on a lake, and he's out there 7:30 in the morning, and usually catches something every time he goes out. And then anytime we go to our place, in Crystal Beach, he's fishing nonstop. There's a line in the water.
He likes that serene element of it, huh?
Yeah. So
that was never me, man. I always got so bored so quick.
No, he catches, unlike me. So
yeah, that part of that. I guess that's the thrilling
when you're
part
catching
right there.
fish is thrilling, but he's.
It can get pretty boring when you're just sitting there with that rod in the water and nothing's happening. No biting.
He's great.
Yeah, his son actually catches. I used to just fish.
I'm a fisherman. He's a catcherman, I guess.
So that's neat. What do you guys love to do for fun when you're not working so hard or anything? Watching NFL games.
Yeah, so fishing is our most important thing. On Sundays, we'll go out on the boat and fish with him. Or we recently bought some land in Odessa, and so we're raising chickens, and we got a couple mini donkeys, and so.
Oh wow.
So,
the Keystone area over there?
Yes.
Yeah. I love that area. It's pretty
we grew
gorgeous.
up on 15 acres in LaBelle, so I've always...
It's pretty much the only part of Tampa where you can find some land, I guess, at this point, right?
Yeah, and interesting, when I was a kid, I used to have to go outside and cut the grass, and I had to fix fences and work cows, and, and I complained every minute of it. I hated it. I'm like, it's hot. I don't like it. I'm getting yelled at. And all I want to do now is go outside and cut grass and build fences and put my phone away. So really, all again comes back full circle. And so I'm trying to teach that to my kids and say,
do you have enough land that you can still set up like a field goal post back there? Are you practicing your kicking still?
Yeah,
or what?
There's 7 acres out there, so we have plenty of land. But so we're out there, and we have 3 chickens that are about a month and a half old, and then we just had 2 hatch last week.
Nice.
So the kids are all into it.
Getting your own eggs
they
now?
love it. Not yet, but we will. We plan on it. So that's kind of what we'd like to do. Our downtime is kind of going out there to the farm, we call it. But
nice.
And hang out.
Couple rapid fire questions for you. Do you have a favorite book or author, seminar that you think has made a huge impact on you at all, personally or professionally?
Well, I think it's funny because it's an old one, but a good one. It's simple. I had an economics teacher one time give me a book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Sure.
And
I've read it.
It always stuck with me because it's simple. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is kind of a dumb book, right? it's like
very practical.
Yeah. You always have to be ready, especially in football, especially in life, in real estate. You got to be ready. Like you said, if this real estate, if the short-term rental market shuts down, what do you do? Well, you got to be ready to sell a house, right? And it's got to be like everything. I feel like you always have to have your head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. It's a simple book. I mean, I think more than seminars, I think it's being genuine. I I think it's being authentic, and I think it's working hard. I mean, a lot of people, especially during COVID, everyone got their real estate license thinking,
Yeah.
man, I'm going to get my
Money
license.
is flowing in here, especially in this market.
It's easy, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. It was easy for some people that have some contacts, but like I was telling you earlier, like last time, sometimes you may not want to hire a friend or a relative just to not get them mad. You want to hire someone that knows what they're doing, that has experience. And, the only way you get experience is by working hard and going through the deals and taking some hits and working hard. But
Totally.
So I think that's my advice is, someone's got to work hard, stay on top of it, learn, ask a lot of questions. But so more than the seminars and the books, and like I said, you got to be ready. It's life experiences, and just be open-minded, because it's not
Can you
an easy.
think of one example of a deal that just blew up on you in your world?
Oh, man, let me think about this.
Did you have like a big challenge that you remember you had to overcome? Anything come to mind?
I mean, I've lost a few deals. I had someone, a week before closing, it was not only that, it was in Bradenton. It was $2 million deal. And so I'm like, okay, I'll drive down to Bradenton for that one. And a week before closing, the people decided they didn't want to buy the property, and they were older, and they decided they want to travel. So that one was tough, because we put a lot of work into a lot of time. We were ready. Our team was ready to start doing the renovations basically, 2 weeks from then.
Right.
So that one was a tough one for me, because it was basically all done. But you know what happens?
Yeah, you live and you learn.
The more I'm into it, I feel like when I started in the business, those would hurt, and it hurt for a long time. Now I look at it as almost like missing a field goal.
Right.
And it's going to happen. And again, the number really doesn't make a big difference. It could happen at 300,000, or it could happen at 2 million. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
So you just move on.
Yeah, you have
just
to.
keep going.
I think that's a smart mentality and a healthy one to have. I mean, there's always more opportunities out there, as long as you're not getting so obsessed with how something went wrong, right?
Yeah, stay positive.
Are you in the NFL world, as a kicker specifically, do you guys are you obsessed with your stats? Like, do you know how many field goals you attempted and made? Is that even something you remember thinking about?
No, I could tell you every kick that I missed, really, more than
you know how many field goals you've missed in your career?
I missed a lot of them. No, that's why I'm sitting here.
What percentage did you make? Do you know that?
I made about 80% of my kicks.
You did? Okay.
Yeah,
that seems pretty good to me. I mean,
some of them were tough, man. They were long ones. So, but
what do the great kickers make? 90?
I mean, nowadays they're 95. In their 90s.
Justin Tucker's
80 was a good number when I played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at stats. When I was coming here, I looked at my stats. I usually don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
One, thankfully, I'm kind of busy, and I just move on to the next deal and not really look. The other day, I was talking to one agent, and he's like, you're third in Ruttenberg? And I was like, no, I have no idea. I'm like, I don't even know where to look, but I'll go find it. So, which that was
we'll
nice.
We'll get it up on that Facebook page that we're logging into. Yeah,
exactly. So, so I don't dwell on stats, but it's nice.
Do you have a favorite team now?
Well, I'm always thankful to the Cardinals, because I got drafted by them. But living here, I'm a Bucks fan.
Okay,
so
makes sense.
Yeah. So, but
you and Martine get to watch the games together every now and again.
Well, they work the games. Him and my other brother Santiago. So
gotcha.
So no, they're working.
Too busy on those Sundays. Huh? Yeah. All right. We'll wrap up with this here, Bill. So I always ask what I call the legacy question. As you think back years from now, hopefully, and you're on that rocking chair thinking about your career and your life, what do you think you'd most want to be remembered for? What type of legacy do you think you'd want to most be remembered for when that time comes?
That's a great question. I think I want to be remembered as, most importantly, being a great dad and a great husband and a great person to my family. We work really hard. It's not easy, but it's the most fulfilling thing outside of anything. Nothing can compare. There's not one kick or anything like that. Like if my daughter scores a goal or my son scores a goal, is way more fulfilling than anything that I've ever done personally. Yeah. So I want to remember for that. And then in the business side is, again, doing the right thing for the clients all the time. Like they say, do the right thing when no one's watching. Mm-hmm. The house that I sold that I was going to flip and I sold to that family, that was rewarding to me, because they love that house, and I would have flipped it and sold it to someone else. They wanted it for themselves. And so to be known for, really working super hard and doing the right thing for my clients is really what all you can ask for, and kind of live by that,
Yeah,
So,
man. No, it makes sense. It was great to have you here. I appreciated you being here, and it was interesting always diving into your career a little bit and seeing the lessons that were learned from that. I hope the audience feels the same way about what they were able to take from the conversation so far. We'll have to have you back to talk more about football because I could do that all day.
Me too. So you let me know.
That sounds good.
Happy to be here.
If somebody wanted to pick your brain a little bit, or even just reach out to you about your business model, to me, it's unique in some ways what we dove into today regarding your strategies and how you've built your team. Most of the top producing agents, I don't think, have that same organizational structure, right? That you've laid out. And I think that can definitely appeal to even agents who might want to consider adding that element, to their business model like you've done. What's the best way for someone to connect with you?
Call my wife. I'm
Google
not that organized. No. Anyone can reach me and call me 813-728-4595 or on my Facebook page at Gramatica Real Estate and Design. Gramatica Real Estate and Design.
There you go.
So hopefully someone will reach out to you there. I'm not great with social media.
Might not be Bill, but
it might be
one of these people.
It might be Mila, my daughter, because she can figure out Facebook.
There you go. Get her a little business experience put her to work, early on.
Yeah, either one of those. Just call me or bgramatica at gmail.com. You can send me an email.
Perfect. We can get the number up in the description as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, appreciate that.
So we try to end every episode with a challenge to the audience to be able to take action, right? We always believe that if you don't take an action step, then you probably miss out on a lot of the value of listening to this conversation today with Bill. And so what's one thing, just one little thing that you can do personally or professionally to help move you forward? It could be as simple as literally, reading the book that he mentioned, Who Holds Your Cheese? Or maybe it's digging in a little bit deeper to his structure. We spent a lot of time on going through his layout of his business model, and I found it fascinating, and maybe that's an opportunity for you to do something similar, or to at least send referrals if you know somebody has some options that remodeling is needed and that's not something you're interested in, but Bill seems to have a great operation here with his team, and he might be able to add value to your program. So take action, do something that's going to move you forward so that the time you invested in this, the action could be as simple as clicking the subscribe button so that you're notified every time we drop a new episode, which is every week. So if you don't already subscribe, click the button so that you can get those notifications. Follow us, of course, at TampaBayRealProducers.com. And if you're an agent who's looking to grow your business and become a top producer, you can check that out at TopProducersNation.com, as we have all kinds of programs for you. So we will see you on the next episode, Tampa Bay Real Producers. See you later. Bye.